Hello everybody, David here with Philippine American Couple Story. Today what I'm going to do is probably do another short series, just a couple of videos on finding and dating foreign women. So as if you guys have got to know me, you'll see that when I do these videos, I basically try to talk from the heart. I tried to talk from what's in my head and share that with you guys. And these videos are probably going to be directly more related to us guys. And I try to do this in a method that I used to do when I taught. I like to have a conversation with you guys about my thoughts and things on that. Now, one of the first things you may be asking is, what makes me an expert on women? Boy, let me tell you, not a thing. There is no way in the world that I am an expert in women and relationships at all. But I do feel like that I am a competent person when it comes to understanding foreign women, foreign cultures somewhat. A little background, of course, on me is I grew up all around different cultures. People from Vietnam, Korea, the Philippines, gosh, number of other countries also. When I taught at the college level, a lot of my international students, which I had hundreds of international students over the years, were from all over the world. And most of them were females. And so, I listened and I learned and talked to them about their cultures, about what they're looking for. And a lot of the international students may come over just to go to school and go home and work. But, there was a fair number that would come over and be happy if they would have found an American to marry. And some did, and some stayed. So, and I'm still friends with a lot of those. As an adult also, I have a lot of friends that are from the Philippines, I know a lot of American guys who are married to Asian women. And of course, most importantly, if you don't know already, my wife is from the Philippines. And we went through that whole K-1 visa process to have her come to the United States and did the 90-day visa, the 90-day thing, and had to get married and all of that. So I may not be an expert, but I feel like I am a competent person to talk about some of the things I'm going to share with you in this short series. Now, this may not be everything. I may forget some things, or hopefully you guys have some insight that I don't have that you can add to the video series. First, make sure you like, subscribe, share our videos, and subscribe to the channel. Remember, my whole goal is to make my wife happy, and doing so will make her happy. Now, I look at this, you have one or two different ways that you can take when you're looking for a foreign spouse. You can take the love route, you can take nature, or God, however you see it. And what I mean by this is you can just let life happen and stumble across the love of your life. It could be a foreign person, it could be a domestic woman, who knows. But there's that route, just letting nature take its course and letting God bring to you who you're meant to be with. Now, that's one route. I have a scientific background, and I try to do things in an analytical or methodical approach. Even though I wound up going the love route, I have a very methodical approach to things. So I'm going to share with you a little bit about that to start with. Now, so one of the things I'm going to highly recommend that you do is a lot of soul searching about what is it that you want. And let's talk about like body types. Do you like very thin and petite women? Do you like taller women? Do you like women have a lot of curves? What type of body is it that you're attracted to? Skin color. What kind of skin color do you like? Do you like really light skinned? You like darker skin, medium skin? Or does it matter? You know, there's a lot of Asian women who have really light skin, like Koreans and the Japanese. If you want a darker skinned Asian, you might look at the people from the Philippines, Thailand, Malaysia, or, you got South America, of course, who have a lot of medium skin and darker skin folks from Colombia and Brazil and all these other countries. So my recommendation is for you to really think about that. Skin color, hair type. Are you wanting a redhead with blue eyes? Well, that's, probably Northern Europe. So give that some thought. Really soul search. What is it that triggers your trigger? And then start your methodical approach with that. Because if you're not attractive to her, if you don't find her beautiful for just the way she looks, whether that sounds shallow or not, it is what it is. So let's do that. Let's look for her. Now, the other thing I want you to think a little about is her personality. What type of personality do you like? So, do you really like somebody who is funny and upbeat all the time? Do you want somebody who's more serious and methodical? Do you want somebody who's a little bit more quiet and demure? So those are different personality traits. Also, you got to think about personal values and ethics. Now, and this relates to work. If she's going to come here to the United States and work, well, you want to, if you're hoping she is, then what type of work ethic does she have? And her values and ethics will play a huge role in to falling in love with her. So let's find somebody that, and you got to think about your own ethics, what works for you. Also, religion. Now, religion may not be a deal breaker, but here's what I'll tell you from listening to everybody. If you're a Christian, let's say you're Catholic, all right, and you marry a Buddhist woman, well, those two aren't even close on the spectrum. There's nothing wrong with either one of them, and I'm neither, so there's nothing wrong with either one. But her religious traditions are going to be far different than yours, which means, are you going to allow her to practice her religion when she comes to the U.S.? Well, you should, and you better, because that's just being a decent husband. So you really need to think about how your religions or non-religions play into this. Maybe you're not religious and she is. Are you okay with that? Because more than likely she's going to want to come here and go to church. If you don't do that, or you're totally against it, then maybe that's not going to work, because that's going to be a huge division in your relationship. So my recommendation is you really think about this and you decide what you can live with and what you don't, but you got to be honest and upfront about that. Find somebody who's very close to your own morals and values and or religious beliefs. And I think you'll have a much better chance at a long-term success, all right? The other big issue is culture. Now, when you marry somebody from another country, I don't care what country it is, you're also marrying her culture. To think that you're going to bring her over here and she's going to become Americanized within 30 days or 10 years is wrong and unfair to her. You need to let her experience and enjoy and bring her culture to the United States, to your house, and you need to incorporate that. If you can't do that, then don't marry somebody from another country. So now let's think really hard about, what culture do I enjoy? What do I like? Do I like what I consider to be a traditional Japanese culture? Now remember, a lot of these cultures are changing and shifting over time. Do I like the Philippine culture? Do I like maybe with the Japanese culture, for example, traditional one, the women are a little bit more subservient. It's an honor-based society. Now, let's say Colombia. Women from Colombia are a little bit more feisty and fiery and outspoken, and all of that good Latin flavor. If that's something that you like, that's what you're going to want to target. If you like the Jamaican culture, well, there you go. That's where you need to go and think about what culture do I enjoy being around and being a part of? Because now that's going to be your future. So really important to think really hard about that. Now, once we start putting all of these things together, another big issue is family. What is your thought on family? Are they the same as hers? And here's kind of what I mean. Let's say you're my age, you're in your 50s, and you're going to marry a foreign woman. We need to visit and talk with her. Do you expect kids? Does she have kids? Does she have a big extended family? Does she have parents? All right, so here's part of why some of this is important. If she already has kids, you're going to probably bring them over to the United States as part of the package, which is perfectly fine and a very good thing to do. Sorry, our dogs are going crazy this morning. So the other thing to keep in mind about family is this. If she has living parents, there's a really good chance that she's going to want to immigrate her mom and dad to the United States, which, for most people is fine. But if that's not what you want down the road, then you need to really understand that. And look, it's going to cost you probably $10,000 per parent and a couple years of time to get them here. That's all part of this. If she has some cultures, some, not all, so just some cultures, like the Philippine culture and Thailand and some other places, Jamaica, the DR, a lot of these cultures believe that when the daughter or the sister comes and marries, quote, quote, the rich American guy, that they now expect her to give them money. Whether they need money or not isn't the point, but now she's living in America and she's supposedly rich because she lives in America. So they expect that. Now, can you deal with that? Can you say no? Can you be strong enough to tell your wife, no, you can't be sending them money, or we don't have the money to send them? Or do you look for somebody that doesn't have that type of culture or that big of an extended family? So those are some things to think about. Also, when it comes to children. Now, if you're, and here's some of my recommendations, and this may irritate some of you guys, but if you're in your 50s and 60s, I wouldn't be going after a 20-year-old Filipino girl. My wife's from the Philippines, so I'm going to use it as an example a lot. One, why do they want an old guy? It's kind of like for us men, I get it. It's like driving a fancy new sports car, a little 20-year-old Filipino cute girl. And she's going to, maybe not want kids right off, but eventually she's going to want kids. Most young women do. So that's where I would recommend that you go after somebody who's older, closer to your own age, maybe a 20-year gap. Maybe she already has kids or a child, and you can bring them over. There's a lot of wonderful single mothers in these countries that will become great wives and great members of your family. But those are just some things to think about. Do you want kids? How big of a family do you want? What type of environment are you going to, family environment, are you okay with? Are you acceptable with? Are you willing to go with? So, all right. Remember to like, subscribe, and share our videos. And I'll be back with you in a little bit with part 2 of our series here. Talk to you later, guys. Take care.